Always want to make sure there is someone on the other end of the phone call. Now, first and foremost, we would like to begin this transmission in the following way. We would like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you, individually and all of you together, collectively, for the opportunity to interact with you in this way. Each and every time members of your civilization allow members of our civilization to create this kind of link, this kind of bridge, this kind of interaction, it forms the vibration of a third reality, a new reality, one that contains both of us, all of us, and can, by its very vibration, bring about the reality, the experience of that new dimension of being. So we thank you for this opportunity, and we would like to begin this interaction in the following way. As has already been mentioned, we suggested 2 of your orbits ago that you begin to start, as you are now doing, to create political frameworks, templates, methodologies, avenues, channels of dialogue and discussion that have to do with laying the template, laying the foundation, laying the groundwork, as you say in your language, for upcoming open contact between our respective cultures and civilizations. Because without that, there will not be, in a sense, the machinery, the circuitry upon which communication can occur. It is important from our perspective to see in you the conviction, the willingness to take action in the direction of what you express as your desire, to understand that through those physical actions, through the establishment of the appropriate formats and conduits, then you are setting up in your own vibration a higher degree of not only possibility but probability that such interactions can take place. We have been watching, observing for many, many, many orbits of your counting, and of course there are a variety of different cultures that have been involved in that. However, now, at long last, we have noticed a sufficient amount of change within your culture, within your desire, within your awareness of yourselves, so that real, profound change can be done, can be created, can be experienced by you on your planet. You can look at this time, at this age upon your planet, similarly to the kinds of times that existed in the beginning of the formation of your United States, where constitutions and bills were laid down, where structure was defined, where a new endeavor was laid out with a vision of creating something that had not existed in the same way on your planet before, as far as you are historically aware. And this idea now that you have labeled exopolitical activity is very much similar to this idea. You are in the early days of your involvement with creating a new endeavor, a new enterprise, a new foundation for a new society, a new civilization, a new understanding of humanity, a new expression of humanity on your planet, a new understanding of your connection to the planet and all life thereupon, and thus all life within the multiverse. Each and every endeavor of this nature will accelerate and expand your ability to experience physically, solidly, concretely this new reality, and will be more and more, in every way, an expansion of the invitation to others like ourselves and other beings in creation to interact and play and share with you. We do this and interact in this way with you in these transmissions because expansion of your reality will also expand our reality, because all things are one. And the more we can interact with you, the more of ourselves will also be revealed to us, because each and every one of you and your civilization as a whole is a unique facet of the multidimensional crystal of creation. And by you waking up to your full potential, then it will uplift, accelerate, and expand all of creation in a very particular vibratory way that will afford an opportunity for all beings who wish to partake of that frequency to feel themselves also expanding in their own searches, in their own explorations of self. For we are not the end-all, be-all of creation. We are also always discovering new things. Sometimes, when we discuss many different kinds of subjects with you, sometimes one of you may ask, Bashar, do you know everything? And I would say, I don't know. The idea is to understand that we are also learning, we are also expanding, and I guarantee you, at least from our perspective, that will never end. Ever. So, all together we climb the ladder of knowledge, awareness, creativity, creation. And even though we may from time to time sit on different rungs, they are all part of the same ladder. All are valuable, all are valid, all are worthy, all are beautiful, all are brilliant, all are aspects of the infinite. None being worse, none being less than. It cannot be that way, not from our perspective. For all things are part of all that is. And if it exists, then all that is must know that it needs to exist in order for all that is to be all that is. So, if even one of you were missing from your reality, all that is would not be all that is. So you are important. You are a part of creation, equally valuable to all other parts. And we are always joyful and excited to interact with you. Because, as I said, it not only reveals more of ourselves to us, it reveals more of all that is to us. And we can, in that sense, then revel in the magnificence of creation itself and share that revelry with our brothers, our sisters, our cousins. In many ways, and in my civilization in particular, we are actually genetically related to you. You are, to us, in many ways, our ancestors, and we, your descendants. So you are family to us. And we are here to remind you, not to tell you something you don't know, but to remind you that your family is far bigger than you think. Wait until the holidays. Family reunions. In the future, that will encompass hundreds, thousands of worlds. Now is the time to begin the work to lay the foundation for that reality. But It is always up to you. It's your world. We can't do it for you. We won't do it for you. We have our own lives to live. Thank you very much. We do not need to take responsibility for yours. That is our job. But we are happy to assist, happy to help, happy to reflect, happy to remind you of who you are. Not who you can become, who you are. For from our perspective, you are already everything you need to be. It's just a matter of allowing, not making, not forcing, allowing yourselves to relax into that remembrance. That's all this is all about. Everything we have to share with you, everything we have ever said, are saying, or will ever say in these dialogues is all about getting you, allowing you to remember more of who you are so that we can interact as true equals, as true co-creative spirits within creation and express ourselves together as aspects and facets of all that is. That's all there is to it. Much of what we share with all of you is more about the process of undoing and unlearning things you have learned, redefining things you have defined in ways that limit you or give you the experience of limitation, more precisely, because you are unlimited beings. You are not ever actually limited. But you can create, with your amazing, unlimited power, the experience of limitation. And that is what you have chosen to do. And that is a fine, fine creation, because it is part of all that is. But now, at this time, you have arrived near the ending of your experience of limitation and forgetfulness. We developed some time ago a nickname for you. It is not a judgmental one, but we called you the masters of limitation. Because you got so very good at forgetting you were unlimited beings. You made it an art. And believe me, it is appreciated by many beings within creation. Because the degree of limitation or experience of limitation you have chosen to impose upon yourselves, the degree of the experience of disconnection from the infinite you have chosen to impose upon yourselves, the degree of forgetfulness, the experience of forgetfulness you have chosen to impose upon yourselves indicates exactly how strong you actually are. Because if you can find the light from that degree of darkness, then nothing is impossible. And believe me, many civilizations going through their own challenges are taking a cue from you. Oh, if they can do it, we can do it. Because look what they did to themselves. Our challenges are nowhere near as dark, but they're finding the light. So if they can do it, we can do it. So you are teachers for many beings you aren't even aware of. So we thank you from the deepest part of our hearts for the challenges you have taken upon yourselves to show others how strong in spirit you actually are. It is no small feat, it is no small task, and we honor you for that. Please remember, we know we have heard people on your planet say, well, you know, we only really use about 10% of our brains. Nope. You use 100% of your brain to make it seem as if you're only using 10. You are very, very clever at hiding from yourself. But when I say the experience of limitation, the experience of disconnection, the experience of forgetfulness, understand you can never be disconnected. You can never be limited. You can never really be forgotten or forget, but you can create the experience of that. And that is what you have done. And now you are learning to create new experiences. Experiences of reconnection. Experiences of remembering. Experiences of unlimiting yourselves. Freeing yourselves. Knowing you always have choice. And always have had choice. And always will have choice. Your reality, your physical reality, that which you call the experience of physical reality, is not outside of you. It only exists within your consciousness. There is no outside. It's an illusion. And what you are now learning in this day and age of transformation, transition, and ascension, and awakening and awareness upon your planet is one fundamental bit of awareness. You are finally beginning to understand how to use the power of the illusion instead of succumbing to the illusion of power. That's the difference. And that's what your new age is all about. Learning to use the power of the illusion instead of succumbing to the illusion of power. That's all it's about. And that, in our dialogues and interactions, is what we will endeavor to illuminate in this transmission. So once again, we thank you, and we invite you, as you have invited us, to open the dialogue with questions and discussions, if you wish. And speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to share. For everything is valuable.
Is this on? Hi, Bashar. I've got a question.
All right, one moment. What happened to, hello, good day. This is, after all, a diplomatic exchange.
Aloha.
And to you, good day. What would you like to discuss this day?
I met you like, I don't know, it was like 14 years ago in Egypt.
Oh, all right.
I wanted to ask you, when you project your consciousness out from your physical, are you conscious in your physical being of your projection, or are you projecting from your higher self state?
Is there a difference?
There is here.
Only because you have made a difference in your definition. Understand that from our perspective, I am not projecting out. I am containing you in my definition of who I am. So that in my consciousness, you become a part of me and I dialogue with that part of me. The vibration that I give off, the state, the vibrational state I put myself in, is of a particular frequency. The channel sitting before you has been trained to match that frequency. When his frequency matches my frequency in a certain way, then we fall into a lockstep vibration, and in that sense, what you get is simultaneously created thoughts that are identical in both places. In other words, telepathy is not actually transmission over a distance per se. It is not reading each other's minds or projecting or sending in that sense, really. It is that when you are in the same vibratory state as another, you have exactly the same thought at exactly the same moment. That's why people who are in love often know exactly what each other are thinking and say the same things at the same time and finish each other's sentences. So in my state of repose, I am completely aware of the fact that this interaction is going on, but I do put myself into an altered state that vibrationally represents the idea that this dialogue exists within the greater idea of myself as an expression, and thus it immediately translates simultaneously into any other idea of location that also matches that frequency. Does that make sense to you in your language at all?
Yeah, it does.
Does that help address the question, or is there some other avenue you wish to explore about this to aid and assist in clarity?
Yes.
All right.
Do you use any mechanical means to facilitate this, or do you?
In some senses, we do. Although, of course, different civilizations will do it in different ways, depending upon how they have oriented themselves. But what you are referring to as mechanical assistance isn't exactly mechanical assistance as you understand it. Many of you have heard that our ships are self-aware. They're not exactly what you would call machines. They are actually beings. They are consciousnesses. They are life forms of a type. But they have the ability, because we have designed it into them, to be plugged into the vibrations of many different states, many different locales, instantaneously and